We are cruising right through the college football season. Week 4, Alabama coming off a win over Ole Miss, but still plenty of questions. And for that, I bring in Matt Zenitz on campus right now in Tuscaloosa. And Matt, Nick Saban talked today about the offensive line, some struggles on the inside specifically. What did he discuss there? What are you seeing from those guys?
He said the offensive line was better against Ole Miss than what it had been the first 2 games. In particular, the run blocking was better. Alabama rushed for a season high, I think 343 yards against Ole Miss, picked up some big yards, some important first downs on the ground during the course of the second half. So there was improvement, reason to be encouraged there with the offensive line play, but at the same time, the competition for the 3 interior spots along the offensive line ongoing. Ross Piercebaker started at left guard this past game against Ole Miss. Bradley Bozeman started at center. Alphonse Taylor started for the first time this year at right guard. But once again, the competition for those 3 spots still ongoing, according to Coach Nick Saban.
Now, Matt, Nick Saban also firing off today about a couple of those defensive busts against Ole Miss, which ultimately led to those touchdowns. What did he say there?
Well, the long touchdown to Evan Ingram during the second quarter was the product of a defensive breakdown, which, to me, looking at the tape, watching the game, it looked like a combination of Ronnie Harrison and Sean Dion Hamilton bid on a fake toss, bid up that allowed Evan Ingram to get behind them and open the door for something along the lines of a 65-yard touchdown pass. Later in the game, there were some defensive issues that allowed Ole Miss to get back in the game and make it close again after Alabama had built the 18-point fourth-quarter lead. But something that Coach Saban talked about today was the fact that at that point they didn't have their secondary signal caller, Eddie Jackson, or their front 7 signal caller, Reuben Foster, in the game at that point. So they had to simplify things to a certain degree defensively, which contributed to some of those issues as far as Ole Miss big plays later in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Matt, injuries also another big concern. Several of those coming out of this Week 3 game against Ole Miss. Is there anywhere to be concerned in that right now moving forward?
Just Ardarius Stewart, and even that isn't a significant concern. Ardarius seems like the only one where there's any question whatsoever whether he'll be able to play on Saturday. Ardarius sprained his knee during the course of the game against Ole Miss, and Coach Saban referred to him as the quote-unquote biggest question mark injury-wise going into the game on Saturday. Other than that, Jalen Hurts, who sprained his wrist at some point during the game against Ole Miss, should be fine. He obviously finished the game. Reuben Foster, who left with an injury, Minka Fitzpatrick, who left with an injury, both of them, in addition to Eddie Jackson, who also left at one point, they may miss some practice time, but at the same time, they're expected to be fine for the game on Saturday and going forward.